We have DJ Yoakley sitting down. He's going to talk a little bit. So, DJ, how we doing today on this great day here at Mill Creek Golf Course?
Oh, you're kidding me, right? This is one of the most beautiful days. It started out chilly, but naturally it warmed up. I called Brian Tornar the other day. I said, I want to know who you've got to deal with that every time we come out here, the weather is gorgeous because we could use some of that this Friday, it sounds like, according to our friends over at Storm Tracker 21. But you look at this, and how fortunate are we to get to come out on a day like this and shake hands with the great people that have served our country so we can do what we do on a daily basis and watch them swing the golf club and learn from the best. Stacy and Brian are the best there are. Um, and just seeing what this event is all about, just seeing what at the end of the day, you know, these people have given up their freedom so we can have ours. And they're out there swinging the club and getting great advice from great golfers so they can do what they love now. They serve their time. And it's an honor for us to be a part of this. Brian and Stacy have done a great job of putting this all together. The flags are flying everywhere, even the United States Space Force, which I'm particularly fond of, being a Star Trek fan from being a young age. But most people don't know that I was able to help in a different way. Before we started YSN, and I worked for a company called Victory Media, and there's multiple publications called GI Jobs and Military Spouse, and it to me it gave me some of the opportunities today to be a leader because I got to shake hands with some of the greatest people I'll ever know that served our country. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and their wives. Got to break bread with them once a year, twice a year, and I have a special appreciation. I've always had a special appreciation for our military servicemen and women, but after that 5 or 6 years or so, um, a severe appreciation. I mean, these people who don't know us, you, I, Ty, giving up their time, their resources, and sometimes the ultimate sacrifice in their lives to allow us to do what we do. And I'm grateful each and every day I wake up to everybody that serves our country in whatever way they do, and families as well.
I think the word of the day, and you said it, is sacrifice. The sacrifices that people have made, not the ultimate sacrifice or other sacrifices, whether it be to their physical ability or their mental health. The sacrifices they make, so we don't have to make the decision to sacrifice ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, you know, signing up to basically, the people that did it back in I want to say the olden days, but the wars that we've been through in this country, we wouldn't be here, and we'd probably be speaking a different language. In the words of my grandfather, who was a Marine, if it weren't for their sacrifice, giving up their lives. I mean, you think of Normandy. Those people knew that they were going to die, but they knew it was for the greater good. And again, eh, I love our military. There's nobody and no love like that of our military and what we do. Our colors at YSN are based off of our country, that we love this so very much. And to be able to I mean, I'm talking a minute part of saying thank you. It's what our mission is all about: live, loyal, and local. And we're very loyal to our country, and we're very loyal to anybody that serves it. And today, again, is just a sliver of the pie that we hope to do in years to come. And I implore anybody, whether they're a business of any size, to get involved with this. And Brian does a great job bringing the Hope program back to Youngstown for the first time. I hope this expands. I mean, this is phenomenal, and I know there's bigger plans for it in the future, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
All that being said, what's it mean to you to have YSN's daily coverage all be live here from Mill Creek for this event? I mean, we're going to be here for Power Hour, Casual Sports Podcast next, all live from here at Mill Creek Park for this event.
It's an honor. I mean, it is. I know Brian's going to sit down. Being able to serve them. I mean, just as easy as some of us went up there and gave water and drinks away at lunch, and got to talk to some of these great men and women. And it all comes down to being service leaders. And, I'm a firm believer in that. Um, these people we use a lot of military, sayings around our office, burn the boats, don't give up the ship. Everybody's in the foxhole together, stuff like that. But there's a lot of correlation between sports and and military and war. Obviously, there's different severities naturally, but it's the same thing. And I think sports gives people an understanding of what it's like to be and battle adversity for whether it be going into the military or going into business. And I'm just honored. I sit here and all of us are here, and um, it's very humbling. It's very humbling to sit here and see what's going on behind you and see what we're just a little part of. But people like Brian and Stacy don't come along every day. And when Brian said, "Hey, would you love?" He didn't even get the sentence out, and I said, "Yes." There's a very special partnership between Mill Creek and YSN, and that there's no doubt about it that it's going to get bigger and better. But anytime you say anything about a military, YSN's in 100% because there's a lot of things we believe in, but nothing's higher than what the sacrifices are and to our military.
Yeah, and I mean, for us too, being a company that does a great job, I believe, in covering the kids and the future generations of everything. What does it mean? I think for you to be able to say and take this company that what when it began, it was a sports company, but now you're giving back and it's becoming a little bit more. Now it's becoming a community company almost, it seems like, and things like this for the community. What does that mean to you from that ownership perspective, seeing what YSN's been able to do as far as that's concerned?
It's exciting. I mean, when this company started, it was Brian and I and a couple other guys, and we knew where we could go, and we knew what we could be, but finding people along the way, like yourself, like Anthony, like Quinn, and the list goes on our roster. Um, again, it's humbling, but it's also exciting because I see the future. Like everybody looks at me like I'm, very young. I'm 36, right? But at the end of the day, Ty, you're 22, 23. Anthony, you're not 30 yet, but you look at the future of the company, and there's a lot of people that don't understand that we're already looking towards the future. We're planning for today. We're aware of our past, but we're planning for the future, and this is a part of it. Being in the community, being embedded in our communities, understanding the cultures of our communities is very important to us. That's why we have our coaches on because there's a level of authenticity that I think we have that nobody else can provide. And that's why it's important for us to get the kids and the coaches and community members involved. That's why we do some of the things we do. Last year we did Peyton Strong, in the Springfield community and tried to lift that a little bit higher. Great success on that. This is another piece. We want to make sure that people understand what the Hope program means. And especially here at Mill Creek, all the special things that Brian's planning to do and doing on a daily basis to allow our people to get out and about because golf is people don't realize how big golf is in our community because nobody covers it. We're going to change that the same way we did with volleyball. Nobody ever did a game of the week of volleyball until we came along and did it, and now it's something that happens randomly. Our whole goal, Ty, is to level up everybody and everything in our path. I I'm a very competitive person and I want to win. But at the end of the day, I want to win by one because I want everybody else to come right behind us and understand that the kids, the community, and also these schools and their schools family are just as important to every community as anything we can have.
When companies grow, whether it be in the media or anything, one of the knocks is, oh, you've lost your core values that you were when you were a little boy. As we've grown, talk about your ability to kind of make our pillars, loyal, local, live, still the forefront of YSN, and what that's been like to keep those as we've grown.
It's more challenging than I thought it would be. It's not that the ego gets in the way, because we try to live every day with none. We the way that we set up our campus at YSN, the way we set up our headquarters, there's no walls. Other than the ones in the studio to separate the sound. Um, I'm a big believer that you can either feed your family or feed your ego, and we've done well to feed our families because why should we have egos? We're people, and not that everybody talks about celebrity status, and my wife jokes about it with me all the time, and I said that's not us. People recognize us, and I'm very humble to be out in the community and people recognize who we are, and it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Also scary sometimes because you don't know who the hell people are, but it's neat and it warms my heart because they're not coming at us with pitchforks. You know, we're invited into their homes each and every week, each and every day, and that wasn't the case all the time. And we understand, Brian and I understand very vividly that the bigger we get at YSN, the more problems that people are going to have with us because we're disrupting the way that people are used to doing things. But the most important thing is always do the right thing. And that's what we believe in. We believe in constantly doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. And if you do all of that, you can't go wrong. And we're going to make mistakes along the way, and we have, certainly. But we will correct those mistakes and we'll get better. And I just hope that people will follow us to that next level because there's a lot of things that we're going to do that, maybe aren't by the book, but that's okay because we're going to do it for the right reasons.
I think nobody will disagree that YSN has given this platform to not only like the schools, but you talk about the coaches' corners and everything for these communities to speak out for themselves. Talk to me a little bit about how important you think that is, as opposed to what we had before with media companies. That we now have this ability for a coach, a player to come on almost any day and kind of speak in terms of the community, the team, and where everything like that is standing.
It's more important, Ty, than anything we do. And I'll say that over and over again. The games are important, and the games are the things that draw the most attention. But I will say that at the end of the day, to hear your son or daughter talk about you as a role model is something that some parents will go a lifetime and never hear. Some parents will never hear their kids say "I love you" from the age of 12 to the age of 18. I was one of those kids that my dad and I clashed a lot, and I didn't really realize he was right, or that he was my role model until I was 23, and unfortunately had to put him in the ground. Um, we use this platform as an opportunity to obviously highlight our students, but also the families, and I think it's very important for coaches, for programs to understand the culture of a young man or young lady, because just as important as 2000 rushing for 2,000 yards in a season as it is for TC Caffey and people that are going to bring TC Caffey in, to know that the young man is a stand-up individual, to know that Dylan Dominguez comes from a great family of people who would give you anything rather than talk about themselves. You look at all these different kids that come from really humble beginnings. We have the Cheney program. We got to do a prime time out there and hear stories about coaches going all the way to Chicago for a young man who lost himself and bring him back into the program. Those stories aren't getting told. They're not. And what's frustrating to us is the platforms that are out there to be had in today's world with technology the way it is. Nobody was doing it, and I don't know if it's because you get to do stuff and you become accustomed to a way of living and getting a paycheck and things of that nature. But the reality is this is there's no paycheck from us that will ever be more powerful than being able to tell a young man's story of him going from rags to riches, getting a scholarship and getting a great education, and young ladies as well. That you look at the young lady from Valley Christian. Zero headlines. Zero headlines all last year. Zero headlines the year before. And all of a sudden she pops up on the University of Kentucky Wildcats roster. We were the only ones to cover it. I mean, there's something to that. And, it's exciting for us because of not only the way that we get to do it, but the excitement for the kids and their families. Because, like I said, sometimes you may never know that you're a kid's role model until you hear them say it on a platform like we have. And it's been an honor. And that's why it's always a question. Who's your role models on the field and off the field? And it's always my favorite question to ask.
DJ, thank you so much for kind of taking a little bit of time on our show to extrapolate a little bit about YSN and why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing here at the PGA Hope event, and giving the guys a little bit more of an insight onto why YSN is here doing what we're doing.
Thank you guys for coming out, Ty. I know it was a long ride for you. We appreciate you coming out, and I know you love coming out here. You love spending time in the sun, getting your tan on. So enjoy it out here. If there's anything I can do in the meantime while you guys show's on, let me know, and enjoy the scenery, man. It's beautiful.